Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive with us. Today, we're going to be tackling something that I know a lot of you are interested in,
Mm-hmm.
and that's building wealth,
Yeah.
you know, and securing a solid financial future for yourselves.
It's a popular topic for sure.
It really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've got a great piece of source material to kind of guide our conversation today. It's a How to Get Rich podcast script.
Okay.
And while we're not going to, be following it like a rule book or anything,
Right.
it's going to give us a framework for a really interesting discussion, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
The thing is, this isn't just about, dollars and cents, right? It's about understanding the mindset and the strategies that really lead to lasting wealth.
Yeah.
And we're going to be looking at some real world examples of people who've actually done it,
Well,
successfully.
it's fascinating how much this script emphasizes the mental game of wealth.
Okay.
You think about lottery winners, for instance. You would think instant millions would guarantee a life of luxury.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But a surprising number of them actually end up broke within a few years.
Really?
It's true. It really highlights the need for a wealth mindset,
Mm,
It's just as crucial as earning the money itself.
that's wild. I guess money just like magnifies existing habits rather than solving all your problems.
It can, yeah.
So how do we cultivate this wealth mindset? This script outlines four key kind of shifts that we need to make.
Okay.
The first one is long-term thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, that's kind of a tough one for me personally. Yeah, any tips for someone who's very focused on immediate needs?
I get that. It is a struggle. It's easy to get caught up in the here and now, but think about it this way.
Okay.
Even small, consistent actions you take towards a long-term goal can actually yield massive results in the long run.
Okay.
Think about Warren Buffett.
Oh yeah.
He's known for his patience, right?
Mm-hmm.
And his long-term investment approach.
Okay.
He famously spends a large portion of his day reading, constantly learning and expanding his knowledge base. It's like compound interest, but for information.
So instead of trying to get rich quick, it's more about patiently building that foundation for, long-term financial growth.
Exactly.
Which actually segues perfectly into
Right.
that second mindset shift, which is continuous learning.
Yeah.
That reminds me of Jeff Bezos leaving his secure job to start Amazon.
Right.
Talk about a leap of faith.
It was a calculated risk, for sure,
Yeah.
driven by his understanding of that emerging e-commerce landscape.
Mhm.
He saw the opportunity and crucially, he was willing to learn and adapt
Yeah.
to a rapidly changing market.
Right.
And this willingness to continuously learn is what sets apart so many successful individuals.
Right.
They're not afraid to step outside their comfort zones, acquire new skills, and stay ahead of the curve.
So we've got long-term thinking. We've got continuous learning. What's next?
Well, the third shift is all about taking calculated risks.
Yeah.
Like Bezos did with Amazon.
Yeah.
It's not about reckless gambling, but it's about making informed decisions, weighing those potential rewards against possible downsides.
Hmm.
And this is where research and understanding your market becomes absolutely critical.
Yeah. So you're not just diving into a pool without, checking the depth first or something.
Exactly. It's about informed decision making, not just chasing shiny objects.
Right. Right. Okay. And then finally, this script talks about avoiding a poverty mindset.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that phrase before,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not entirely sure I know what it means in practice.
Well, it's about shifting your thinking from, that I can't afford that to how can I afford that?
Okay.
So instead of seeing limitations, you focus on solutions.
Oh, okay.
Someone with an abundance mentality believes in opportunities and possibilities,
Mhm.
which can lead to, more creative problem solving
Right.
and ultimately more financial success.
So it's about believing in your ability to create wealth, even if you're starting from scratch.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. We've covered these four powerful mindset shifts. But let's be real. A positive attitude alone won't pay the bills.
Right.
What's the next step in this, wealth building journey?
Well, that's where the idea of multiple income streams comes in.
Okay.
Relying solely on a salary is like building a house on a single shaky pillar.
Oh,
If that one source dries up, you're in trouble.
right.
So diversifying your income is crucial for building that financial stability and resilience.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Putting all your eggs in one basket is never a good idea, especially when it comes to your finances.
Right.
The script breaks down income into three types: active side hustles and passive. What's the difference between those?
Active income is what most people are familiar with. It's
Okay.
the money you earn from your main job or business.
Right.
But the key takeaway here is that to build real wealth, You need to go beyond that single source.
Okay.
And side hustles are a fantastic way to do that.
So we're talking about freelancing, selling products online, offering services, those sorts of things.
Okay. And then there's passive income, often considered the holy grail of wealth building.
Oh, right.
This is income that keeps coming in even when you're not actively working.
Okay.
So investments, digital products, content creation, there's a wide range of possibilities there.
Like Elon Musk.
Yeah.
He's got Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink.
He does it all.
He seems to have mastered this whole, like, diversifying income thing.
He's a good example.
But how realistic is it for the average person to juggle that many ventures?
Well, Musk's success is impressive, but it's important to remember that building multiple income streams doesn't mean you need to be a multi-industry titan like that.
No.
Even starting with a single side hustle can make a big difference.
So it's about taking those small steps
Yeah.
and gradually building up those multiple income streams.
Exactly. You don't have to launch a rocket company right out of the gate.
Right. Okay. So we've tackled mindset. We've tackled income streams. What's next?
Well, even with multiple streams flowing in, there's another crucial piece, and that's managing that money wisely.
Okay.
Imagine a leaky bucket you can pour in all the money you want.
Right.
But if you've got holes in your spending habits, you'll never accumulate real wealth.
Oh, that's a great visual.
Yeah.
I'm definitely guilty of having some leaks in my own spending bucket.
Happens to the best of us.
So how do we patch those holes and make sure our wealth bucket is, watertight?
The script highlights 3 key principles.
Okay.
Saving before spending, living below your means, and understanding the difference between good and bad debt.
Okay.
Saving before spending is about prioritizing your future self over that immediate gratification. The script recommends aiming to save at least 20% of your income each month.
20%. That feels ambitious. Is there wiggle room there based on individual circumstances?
Absolutely. The 20% is a guideline, not a hard and fast rule.
Okay.
The key is to establish a consistent saving habit, even if it starts small.
Right.
Gradually increasing your savings rate as your income grows can make a huge difference over time.
So it's like building a saving muscle,
Yeah.
like any other habit.
Exactly.
Okay, what about this idea of living below your means? That sounds like a recipe for a boring life.
Not at all. It's about making conscious choices and prioritizing what truly matters to you.
Okay.
Even when your income increases, resist the urge to inflate your lifestyle to match. It's a common trap to fall into, but if you can maintain that financial discipline, you'll be amazed how quickly your wealth can grow.
Interesting.
Look at Mark Zuckerberg.
Okay.
Despite his immense wealth, he drives a relatively modest car.
It's like he's saying true wealth isn't about that flashy spending.
Yeah.
It's about building assets and making smart financial choices.
Exactly.
Which leads us nicely to that final point you mentioned, good debt versus bad debt.
Right. That's a critical distinction.
Yeah.
Good debt is an investment that has the potential to generate future income or appreciate in value over time.
Right.
Like a mortgage on a property that's likely to increase in value or a loan to start a business that's projected to generate a profit.
So it's not just about avoiding debt altogether, but being strategic about the types of debt we take on.
Precisely. Bad debt, on the other hand, is a liability that drains your resources.
Okay.
It's often associated with depreciating assets or consumable items.
Right.
Think of it like this. Are you using debt to create something that will build wealth in the future? Or are you just racking up credit card bills on things that lose value quickly?
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
So it's about using debt strategically to leverage opportunities,
Yeah.
not to dig yourself into a financial hole.
Exactly.
Okay, so to recap, we've got save first, live below your means, and be smart about debt. It sounds like we're building a pretty solid financial foundation here.
We are.
But the script doesn't end there, does it?
It doesn't.
It also touches on the importance of the people you surround yourself with.
Right.
This phrase stuck with me. Your network is your net worth.
That's a good one.
What's fascinating about that is the power of human connection, in building wealth. Successful individuals often leverage their network to achieve far more than they could alone, right?
Absolutely. They collaborate, they learn from each other, and they tap into the collective wisdom and resources of their connections.
So it's not just about what you know, but who you know. It sounds a bit opportunistic.
Not necessarily. It's about fostering genuine relationships that benefit everyone involved.
Okay.
You bring your unique skills and perspectives to the table, and in return, you gain insights, support, and opportunities from others. Think of it as a collaborative ecosystem where everyone elevates each other.
That makes sense. It's about building authentic relationships,
Hmm.
not just using people for their connections.
Right.
So how do we actually go about building a valuable network? Do I need to start attending fancy gala events and rubbing elbows with millionaires?
It doesn't have to be that glamorous. Attending industry events and seminars can be a great way to expand your network.
Oh.
Those events provide a platform to meet like-minded individuals, learn from experts, and potentially even forge partnerships that could lead to exciting ventures.
So stepping outside your comfort zone and actively engaging with others in your field, can open up all sorts of possibilities.
It can.
What about mentors? The script mentions finding someone who's already walked the path you're on.
Right.
Do I just walk up to Warren Buffett and ask him to be my mentor?
Well, a direct approach can sometimes work,
Okay.
but it's often more effective to start by identifying individuals you admire within your existing network or industry.
So it could be a former professor, a colleague I respect, or even someone I connect with online through professional groups.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Reach out, express your admiration for their work, and let them know you're looking for guidance.
Okay.
Building a genuine rapport and demonstrating a sincere desire to learn can go a long way.
It's about approaching mentorship with humility
Mm-hmm.
and a willingness to learn, not just asking for favors or connections.
Right.
This has been a really insightful deep dive so far.
It has.
We've covered a lot of ground, from the power of mindset to the importance of multiple income streams and smart money management, and we've even touched on that game-changing impact of networking.
And what's really interesting is how all of these elements connect to create a holistic approach to wealth building.
Yeah.
It's not just about making money, but about cultivating the right mindset, diversifying your income, managing your finances wisely, and surrounding yourself with a supportive and inspiring network.
It's not just about winning the lottery.
Right.
It's about building a foundation for lasting financial success.
Exactly.
But hey, we're running short on time for this part of our deep dive.
Okay.
Why don't we leave our listeners with a question to ponder?
Okay.
If you could have dinner with any of the successful individuals we've discussed today,
Hmm.
who would it be, and what one question would you ask them about building wealth?
Think about that, and we'll pick up the conversation in the next part of our deep dive.
Until then, keep exploring and keep building that wealth.
We'll be back.
Welcome back to our deep dive. I hope you had some time to think about that dinner conversation question we left you with. It's fascinating to consider what insights we could gain from, folks who've achieved incredible financial success.
Yeah, it really makes you think about the paths they took and the decisions that shaped their journeys.
Absolutely. But even without a personal sit-down with a billionaire, the source material we're exploring today offers some really valuable knowledge.
It does.
We've already discussed the power of mindset,
Yeah.
the need for those multiple income streams, and the principles of smart money management.
Right. And we've started to delve into that impact of networking, the idea that your network is truly your net worth.
I used to think networking was all about, schmoozing and trying to get something from people.
Mm-hmm.
But you've kind of reframed it as this collaborative ecosystem where everyone kind of elevates each other. It makes me wonder, what are some practical ways to actually build a strong network that feels authentic?
Yeah.
You know?
That's a great question. Building a genuine network takes effort and intention. Attending industry events and seminars, as we mentioned earlier, is a fantastic way to connect with like-minded individuals.
Right.
But it's not just about showing up. It's about actively engaging with people, listening to their stories, and finding ways to contribute to the conversation.
Okay, so it's not just about collecting business cards and,
No.
hoping something comes of it.
It's about building those relationships.
Okay. I can see how those events could provide a platform for meeting potential mentors too.
Yeah.
Speaking of mentors, you mentioned that finding someone who's already walked the path you're on can be incredibly valuable.
It can be.
But how do you actually approach someone and ask them to be your mentor? I'd be terrified to ask someone like Warren Buffett for guidance.
I understand that hesitation. It can feel intimidating to reach out to someone you admire.
Mm-hmm.
But remember, most successful individuals are actually passionate about sharing their knowledge and helping others. Yeah, start by identifying someone within your existing network or industry who you genuinely respect
Okay.
and whose experience aligns with your aspirations.
So maybe a former professor, a colleague whose work I admire, or even someone I've connected with online through professional groups.
Exactly. Reach out to them, express your admiration for their work, and let them know you're seeking guidance.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to be specific about what you're hoping to learn from them. Most people are flattered to be asked for their advice, and you might be surprised by their willingness to help.
It's about approaching mentorship with humility and a genuine desire to learn, not just seeking favors or connections.
Right.
Okay, shifting gears a bit, let's talk about money management.
Okay.
I think most of us have at least a basic understanding of budgeting and saving, but this leaky bucket analogy from the script really hit home.
It's a good one.
I know I'm guilty of some financial leaks in my own life.
You're not alone. We all have those little spending habits,
Yeah.
that drain our resources without us even realizing it. Those daily lattes impulse buy subscription services we barely use, they seem insignificant, but they can really add up over time.
It's like death by 1,000 cuts, but for our bank accounts. So how can we become more mindful of these spending patterns and plug those leaks?
Well, one effective strategy is to actually track your spending for a month or two.
Okay.
I know it sounds tedious,
A little bit.
but categorize every expense no matter how small.
Oh, wow.
You might be surprised to see where your money is actually going.
I guess it's like shining a spotlight on those hidden spending habits that we might not even be aware of.
Yeah.
Once we see where the money's going, what's the next step?
Once you have a clear picture, you can start to identify areas where you can cut back or make more conscious choices.
Okay.
Maybe that daily latte becomes a twice-a-week treat, or you switch to a less expensive streaming service. Small changes can have a big impact over time.
It's not about deprivation.
Yeah.
It's about making those informed choices about where your money goes and aligning those choices with your values and financial goals. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So the script also emphasizes the importance of distinguishing between needs and wants.
Absolutely. Needs are the essentials: food, shelter, healthcare.
Right.
Wants, on the other hand, are things that enhance our lives but aren't strictly necessary.
Right.
It's about prioritizing those essential needs and then making conscious choices about which wants to indulge in based on our financial goals.
So instead of just mindlessly spending, we're making intentional choices about where our money goes.
Right.
It's about being mindful consumers, not just mindless spenders.
I like that.
Now let's talk about a topic that often gets people riled up.
Debt.
Okay.
Is all debt bad?
That's a great question, and the answer is not necessarily.
Okay.
Remember the distinction we made earlier between good debt and bad debt?
I do, yeah.
Good debt is an investment that has the potential to generate future income or appreciate in value over time.
Like a mortgage on a property that's likely to increase in value.
Or a loan to start a business that's projected to generate a profit.
Exactly. Those types of debt can actually help you build wealth in the long run.
Okay.
They're like strategic tools that can leverage your financial growth.
So it's not about avoiding debt altogether,
No.
but rather being smart about the types of debt that we take on.
Right.
We need to ask ourselves, is this debt helping me build wealth, or is it dragging me down?
That's a brilliant way to frame it. Bad debt, on the other hand, is often associated with depreciating assets or consumable items.
Okay.
Things that lose value quickly or don't contribute to your long-term financial well-being.
Like that brand new car that loses value the moment you drive it off the lot.
Yeah.
Or racking up credit card debt on clothes and gadgets. It sounds like good debt is about investing in your future, while bad debt is about immediate gratification.
You've hit the nail on the head. It's crucial to understand that difference and make conscious choices about how you use debt. Now, before we move on, I'd love to address something that often comes up when we talk about building wealth, and that's investing. Okay. It's a topic that can feel intimidating, especially for those who are new to it.
I know what you mean. The world of investing can seem like this mysterious exclusive club.
It can.
But this script emphasizes the importance of putting your money to work,
Yes,
rather than letting it just sit idle in a savings account.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a key point. While saving is crucial for building that financial cushion,
Right.
it's important to remember that inflation can erode the purchasing power of your savings over time.
So how do we combat inflation and make sure our money's actually growing?
That's where investing comes in. By investing in assets that have the potential to appreciate in value over time,
Right.
you can outpace inflation and build wealth. Think of it like this. When you invest, you're essentially buying a piece of something that you believe will become more valuable in the future.
Okay, so investing is important, but where do we even begin?
Yeah.
There are so many investment options out there: stocks, bonds, real estate, cryptocurrencies. It's overwhelming.
It can definitely feel that way. And that's why education and research are crucial.
Okay.
There are countless resources available: books, online courses, financial advisors that can help you understand those different investment options
Right.
and create a portfolio that aligns with your risk tolerance and financial goals.
So it's not about blindly jumping into the latest hot stock tip or following the crowd,
Oh,
but rather taking the time to educate ourselves and make those informed investment decisions.
exactly. Investing is a long-term game. It requires patience, discipline, and a willingness to continuously learn and adapt.
Okay.
It's important to understand the risks involved and make sure you're comfortable with the level of risk you're taking on.
It sounds like the key takeaway here is that knowledge is power when it comes to investing.
It is.
We need to do our homework and understand what we're getting into before we put our hard-earned money on the line.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Investing can be a powerful tool for building wealth,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It requires a strategic mindset and a commitment to lifelong learning.
This has been a fantastic deep dive into money management so far.
It ha-
We've covered so much ground, from plugging those leaky spending habits
Mm-hmm.
to the importance of understanding debt and the power of investing.
Right.
It's amazing how all of these concepts tie together to create a holistic approach to financial well-being.
And we've only just scratched the surface. There's so much more to explore when it comes to building wealth and creating a life of financial abundance.
I'm already feeling more confident and empowered.
That's great.
But hey, we're running short on time for this part of our deep dive.
Okay.
Why don't we leave our listeners with a question to ponder before we wrap up?
That's a great idea. Let's go back to that dinner conversation question.
Okay, so picture this. You're having dinner with one of the successful individuals we've discussed today.
Mm.
Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg,
Mm.
Steve Jobs, or Steve Wozniak.
Okay.
Who would you choose, and what one question would you ask them about building wealth?
Think about that carefully. What insights are you most curious about? What questions would help you on your own wealth building journey?
We'll pick up the conversation and explore your answers in the final part of our deep dive.
Hmm.
Until then, keep those brains buzzing and those wealth-building dreams alive. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive. I'm so curious to hear, who you'd choose for that wealth-building dinner conversation and what burning questions you'd have for them.
I bet there are some fascinating choices and some really insightful questions out there. It's incredible how just a simple hypothetical scenario can spark so much thought.
It really highlights how much we can learn from those who've achieved, significant success, even if we never get that face-to-face dinner opportunity. But luckily, we've got this incredible How to Get Rich podcast script as our guide for this deep dive.
Yeah, we do.
And it's packed with valuable knowledge.
It is.
We've covered so much ground already. The
Yeah.
power of a wealth mindset, the
Mm.
importance of multiple income streams, the art of smart money management, and the game-changing impact of building a strong network.
We have.
You know what's striking me now, looking back over everything we've discussed, is that it's not just about tactics and strategies. It's about cultivating a whole new way of thinking about wealth and success.
That's a brilliant observation. It's about shifting your perspective and adopting a growth mindset.
Yeah.
Embracing lifelong learning, seeking out mentors, and constantly challenging yourself to grow are all crucial components of this journey.
It's like we're not just trying to get rich. We're trying to become the kind of people who attract wealth and success.
Yeah.
We're developing the habits, the mindset, and the network that will support us on that journey.
And perhaps most importantly, we're learning to align our financial goals with our values and passions.
I know that's so important.
After all, what's the point of building wealth if it doesn't bring you fulfillment and allow you to live a life that's truly meaningful to you?
You've hit on such a crucial point. It's not just about accumulating money for money's sake. It's about using that wealth as a tool to create the life you desire, whether that's financial freedom, the ability to pursue your passions, give back to your community, or make a positive impact on the world.
Exactly. And that brings us back to the core message that really resonated with me from this How to Get Rich script.
Okay.
Building wealth is a journey, not a destination. It's an ongoing process of learning, adapting, and making choices that align with your vision for the future.
I love that. It takes the pressure off needing to have all the answers right now.
Right.
And encourages us to embrace the process.
Yeah.
It's about enjoying the ride
Yeah.
while we're building that brighter financial future.
Absolutely. It's about celebrating the small wins along the way, learning from those inevitable setbacks, and constantly seeking opportunities for growth.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into building wealth, I want to leave you with this. Don't get caught up in chasing some arbitrary definition of rich. Focus on building a life of abundance, a life filled with purpose, joy, and financial well-being.
And remember, you have the power to create that life. It starts with a single step, a commitment to learning, and a willingness to put in the effort. Keep that wealth-building engine running.
That's a perfect note to end on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Remember, the journey to financial well-being is ongoing. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep those wealth-building dreams alive. Until next time, stay curious.